Hello and welcome to Drive It, your car show on DW. Coming up, Porsche redefines exclusivity. Journeys with the Mercedes Marco Polo. And BMW's new 2 Series Gran Tourer minivan. Fans of cars made in Bavaria have something to look forward to. The Active Tourer broke an unspoken BMW taboo on making a front-wheel drive vehicle. Now, the next one is rolling off the assembly line. It fills a gap in the car maker's range. Our car tester Axel Busse is checking out the BMW 2 Series Gran Tourer, the long version of the Active Tourer and BMW's first minivan. Most experts and customers were surprised BMW decided to make one. But it does plug that hole in their palette, says Busse. Up till now, young families and active people who have to carry lots of gear had to turn to other manufacturers. BMW didn't have a minivan in its portfolio. That's why they decided to make one, he says.
Haben bisher nichts gefunden im Portfolio bei BMW und da musste also dieses Auto her.
The coupe's look is dynamic, true to BMW's aesthetic. But the 2 Series Active Tourer is based on a different platform. With a wheelbase that's 11 centimeters wider and more than 10 centimeters taller in the rear, you could view the Gran Tourer as an Active Tourer with a backpack. It reveals that BMW's 2 Series is one of the most diverse in the industry. The carmaker's head of product management says the two cars are related, but that the Gran Tourer is also backed up by its own solid concept. It's 21 centimeters longer and offers a lot more space than the Active Tourer. Space for plenty of comforts, especially for the captain of this stately vessel. The young crew will find plenty of room back in the spacious rear of the car, far from the captain's post.
Is
it far? Are we there yet? I'm thirsty. As everyone who has traveled with kids knows, Axel says, those are key issues. And the last can be addressed in this car. There are plenty of drink holders in the Gran Tourer, in the doors, on the back of the front seats.
In den Türen, in den Rücksitz, in den Lehnen der Vordersitze. Und was auch reichlich vorhanden ist Platz, nämlich.
And there's also more than enough leg space in the rear. When they're in this position, it's over 30 centimeters, Axel comments. And if I need more space in the last row of seats, I just move them forward a bit. You can move those up to 130 millimeters forwards and backwards as well. Driving 6 or 7 people is one side of the coin, says our car tester. The other is cargo space. If you want to carry baggage for 2, for example, you can easily extend the trunk. When you're transporting 5 people, the trunk holds 645 liters. It's the biggest in any of BMW's series cars. If you need a little more, you can press a button to lower the second row of seats, he explains. Then you have a volume of about 1,800 liters of cargo space. His test vehicle, the 220D X-Drive version, has come equipped with all-wheel drive and an 8-gear automatic transmission. It isn't made by the supplier that usually delivers BMW transmissions for longitudinal engines, but it still functions flawlessly, throwing the car to 100 kilometers an hour in just 7.6 seconds. Drivers can keep a close eye on important information with the help of a head-up display. With other car makers, the hefty proportions of a minivan often lead to sloppy handling. But not in this one, says Axel. In the Gran Tourer, you feel like you have good contact with the street and that the car responds well, that you can react and the car will do what you want. That in turn makes you feel secure behind the wheel, he says. And the Gran Tourer can provide not just an active driving experience, but an interactive one as well. Its infotainment system can also use the net. Peter Heinrich says BMW is marketing a number of technologies under the name Connected Drive. That includes the head-up display, which is unique in this segment, but also online services. You can surf from your car, connect to social media, whatever you want, he says. The minivan lives up to the BMW image in terms of sportiness and dynamic handling. It's the best of both worlds for drivers who need lots of space but don't want to sacrifice agility. Axel says his verdict is overwhelmingly positive because he demands versatility, but also wants to have fun behind the wheel. That always involves compromises, he says, but in the Gran Tourer, BMW has minimized them. The car provides excellent levels of comfort and a wide range of activities, as well as driving pleasure and versatility. He believes this minivan concept is a winner. Driving a Porsche is an expensive and exclusive pleasure, but Porsche gets even more exclusive. Here at the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart-Zuffenhausen, car tester Sascha Knapp is not sitting in some oldtimer, but a spanking new forerunner of the Panamera Exclusive series. He says this top-of-the-line factory model has everything Porsche has to offer. The limited edition was built for just 100 Porsche enthusiasts worldwide. Not much has actually changed under the hood. This Panamera carries Porsche's 419 kilowatt Turbo S engine, the carmaker's most powerful. And it's in some very precious packaging. This jewel of a car is currently Porsche's most expensive available vehicle. The 918 Spider has been sold out for months. Exclusive Series representative Dominique Meyer reminds us that this is an executive version of the Turbo S. He sees the limited edition of just 100 vehicles as exemplifying all high-end features that Porsche Exclusive has always stood for. He points to the exterior with its two-tone hand finish on the sides. The basic exterior color is deep black metallic, running to chestnut brown metallic in 6 different segments. The paint job starts in the front with chestnut brown, gradually changing to black towards the rear of the car. Meyer says the exterior is only the start of the handmade features. Inside, the wood trim is made of walnut with another tapering paint job that segues into black high-gloss enamel. Meyer praises the way the visual theme from the exterior has been continued inside. The interior exhibits all the flawless workmanship typical of Porsche and shows the love of detail that's gone into this model. In back, you'll find the inaugural rear seat Entertainment Plus system. For Sascha, one of the special things in this version is the Poltrona Frau leather that was used for the seats and other parts. The car tester admires its softness and pleasant feel. It's processed in the leatherworks here in Zuffenhausen. He invites us along for a closer look. Not all the leather here comes from the prestigious Italian company, but the process is always the same. The staff member scans the material and marks small irregularities. The computer calculates the optimal cut, and then the leather is sliced with a high-pressure water jet. The rest of it is processed by hand. Sascha points out that the passion for detail in the Porsche Panamera Exclusive even extends to the perforations in the seat. They're not round holes, but have the form of the Porsche emblem. For him, it's just another sign of how exclusive the Panamera Turbo S Exclusive really is.
Exklusiv, der Porsche Panamera Turbo S Exclusive ist.
1 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 2 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 3 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 4 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 5 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 6 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 7 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 8 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 9 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 10 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 11 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 12 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 13 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 14 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 15 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 16 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 17 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 18 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 19 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 20 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 21 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 22 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 23 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 24 Turbo S Exclusive ist. 25 Turbo S Exc
The exclusive Panamera version, like its less exclusive fellows, is built in Leipzig. And here, there are also plenty of handcrafted features. Although customers can usually choose between right and left-hand drive, the Panamera Exclusive is only available as a left-hand drive model. The Panamera has power to spare. It can even produce a brief 800 Newton-meter burst of torque thanks to its over-boost function. Porsche representative Dominique Meyer says that the brand has enthusiasts all over the world, but he says the main markets are the United States, where 33 of the models, a third of the edition, have already been sold. It's followed by China, Germany, and Arab countries. Those 4 markets are the main target groups.
Kann man es jetzt nicht eingrenzen, aber diese 4 Märkte sind schon mal große Zielgruppen definitiv.
Even that exclusive clientele may need some urging, like here at Auto Shanghai. Porsche set up a private room for interested customers so sales negotiations wouldn't be interrupted. After all, the vehicle costs €250,000. That's the price tag in Germany. But of course, the fact that it's a limited edition adds a bit of a kick. Dominique Meyer reminds us that you can spend a lot of money on some of Porsche's other Panamera models too, such as the regular Turbo S Executive. One of his customers who ordered a Turbo S and didn't want the exclusive series ended up paying €240,000 for his car. Even a normal model can reach a similar price once Porsche customizes it. But he says the exclusive version is truly unique. A car this beautiful needs to be driven, and this one is a dream. Despite a wheelbase 15 centimeters longer than normal, it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.8 seconds and has a top speed of 310 kilometers per hour. Sasha shows us the leather-bound handbook, just one of the luxurious details in this model. He advises Porsche fans who have €250,000 to spare to hurry up and order if they want to get a hold of a Porsche Panamera Exclusive. He's been told that most of them have already been sold.
Von daher, wer das Taschengeld von 250.000 € übrig hat, müsste sich dann jetzt doch langsam beeilen, einen von diesen sehr exklusiven Porsche Panameras zu bekommen.
After a facelift, the Mercedes ML has been dubbed the GLE. The model can now also be ordered with a hybrid drive. For just under €75,000 in Germany, the GLE 500e 4MATIC puts out 330 kilowatts of power and burns just 3.3 liters of fuel for every 100 kilometers on the road. Volkswagen is now, for the first time, offering a variant of its Golf R with an impressive 1,620 liters of cargo space. The exclusive new model's turbo engine puts out 221 kilowatts of power and up to 380 Newton-meters of torque via its permanent 4-motion all-wheel drive. The 6-gear double-clutch transmission comes as a standard. In Germany, the Golf R variant can be had for just under €43,000. Our car tester Reinhold Deisenhofer reminds us that spring is a season of change for our cars as well. In winter, salt and grit damage paintwork and windows, and lights and battery take a beating too. He shows how to get your car in shape for spring. To prevent a buildup of harmful mold or bacteria in the car, make sure to completely dry out carpets outside the car. Use newspaper to soak up any moisture. If there's still moisture, Reinhold's advice is to clean the drain openings under the door, as these can become blocked. If that doesn't help, take it to the mechanic. Give the trunk a good tidying up. Extra baggage means extra gas. Even if your trunk's already empty, it's always worth going in to check if your first aid kit is in date. Now it's off to the car wash for a good spring clean to remove any salt, grit, and stubborn dirt. And it's worth doing properly, so invest in a program which includes a pre-clean and underbody wash. It's the only way to completely remove winter salt and prevent rust. It's important to pre-wash with a high-pressure cleaner before entering the car wash. Otherwise, dirt can act like sandpaper and cover the car in scratches. But be gentle and only spray each area once. Hold the hose at least 30 centimeters away and keep it moving to prevent damage to the bodywork. Never aim directly at the tires, as this can cause permanent damage. Keep at least 50 centimeters away. It's best to leave the engine to a professional because it's easy to get it wrong. A high-pressure cleaner is likely to cause damage, especially if you're not an expert. Now it's time to give the car a once-over. It's important to check the windshield for chips because they can lead to cracks. For large scratches or cracks, you'll need an expert to repair or replace it. Most car washes don't get windows thoroughly clean. You'll need elbow grease for that. Reinhold explains how important it is to clean the inside of the windshield too, because a greasy film can build up during winter and can lead to visibility problems when the sun is low in the sky. The windshield wipers also need to be checked because they've been battling with ice and snow all winter. If they leave a residue, this can be cleaned with a soft cloth. If the wipers are chipped or broken, then it's best to get yourself a new set. He also advises you to grease the hinges to prevent squeaking. It's good for your car and your nerves. You can really hear the ones on the hood, so give them extra special attention. The air filter also needs replacing. Moist winter air puts strain on it, and it can quickly become a breeding ground for bacteria. A new filter also keeps spring pollen at bay. Reinhold also reminds us to make the switch to summer tires. Inspect your winter tires for damage and make sure the tread isn't worn. He explains the 3 things which can cause this: incorrect air pressure, faulty shock absorbers, or incorrect alignment. Just remember to retighten the wheel nuts after 50 kilometers and you're all set for your summer drive.
Sommerausflug steht nichts mehr im Weg.
Our expert Ines is testing the Mercedes Marco Polo in Portugal. The new model builds on the V-Class, but there are plenty of small changes in the details, which make the camper more attractive. We're testing the second most powerful diesel engine available, with 120 kilowatts. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just over 11 seconds and consumes about 6 liters of gas over a distance of 100 kilometers. The basic price for this model in Germany is just under 57,000 euros. Ines says the Marco Polo is really comfortable to drive. You can set up the seats exactly how you want them. The steering wheel is the same. You can change the positioning. But you have to get used to the car's outer dimensions. And the tinted windows mean the visibility takes a little getting used to, but it's really fun to drive. Today we're meeting Manfred Fischer. He's one of the people in charge of making these cars. Manfred says everything you need for camping, sleeping, or cooking that runs on electricity can be operated here from this control unit on the central console. It's very intuitive. You can use this wheel to see all the different options. And you can check the levels of fresh water and wastewater, and so on too. Then you can alter the roof settings to make it easy to move around in the kitchen. To do that, you can also get an optional extra that allows you to lift the roof up electronically. Belts keep the upper beds in place as the roof tilts. The textile part of the roof is designed so that it opens and closes like an accordion. That prevents problems when folding it back up. Manfred says all Marco Polo models have seats that turn around to make more space. It's quick to do. You just adjust them easily. And there you have it. There's more room.
Dann kann man sich den noch schön ausrichten und voilà, wir haben Raum.
The instruments are taken from the V-Class. The contrasting design continues from the cockpit into the living area. Manfred points out the tinted divided covers. He says they have the advantage of allowing light in, even when they're up. Then there are drawers, which open and close very smoothly. And then a sliding door, rather than another drawer. That means you can move the seats behind forward and still use it. Mercedes have used high-quality materials for the kitchen area that are also easy to clean and keep in good condition. Manfred says this sliding table is a new aspect of the car. It's easy to put up, he says. We could sit down and have a drink now. And there's a table in the trunk, too. That can be used outside, along with two chairs. You can also leave the set at home if you don't need it. Ina says 4 people can sleep in the Marco Polo. Some of the changes to the car can't be seen at first glance. If you look under the mattress, there are supports that make lying down on all sorts of positions more comfortable. When the roof's up, the insides can be unzipped for better ventilation, and the roof is now higher at the back for more foot space. Manfred says there's a conflict between making seating comfortable and making lying down comfortable. On long journeys with lots of corners, you need supports on the backs and in the seat cushions. But that makes sleeping difficult. Mercedes have solved that problem by using air cushions in the sides and in the upper parts of the seat backs.
Dass wir quasi hier Luftpolster in den Seitenwangen unten und Luftpolster im oberen Bereich der Rückenlehnen drin haben.
The passenger can then change the level of the support. When they want to adjust the seat so they can sleep, they move it back. When it's been moved by about 30 degrees, it realizes that the passenger wants to sleep and starts pumping out the air automatically.
Jetzt fängt an, das Steuergerät und die Sitzbank sich selber hier zu lenzen, also die Luft geht automatisch raus.
When the seats are completely folded down, the headrests go into brackets to keep them out of the way. Manfred says the seatbelt buckles are lowered down so you don't lie on them. And when you put this wedge in, it fills the space for the belt buckles. That gives an even space to lie down on, of some 2 meters in length and 1.1 meters across. There's also a cupboard with space to stash clothes and other things. Ina says the Marco Polo is also available without the kitchenette, and the basic price for that model is less than 40,000 euros. That's a real challenge to the car's competitors. In particular, she likes the split trunk lid, which comes as an optional extra. You can use that to get the perfect view as you lie down and relax. Coming soon on Drive It. It's small but packs a real punch. The Opel Corsa OPC. And Peugeot's sporty newcomer, the 308 SW GT.